this is Digital by Computing. We're going through the song Hitching a Ride by Greenday. Song is in standard E tuning on your guitar. You've got a bit of distortion on that guitar to make it nice and rocking and rolling. Two guitars in this song, generally just in that solo bit where there's like a solo and there's also a second guitar playing the big guitars. But pick up your guitar, standard E tuning, distortion on your guitar. Let's go through it now. Main part of the song is 4 standard chords. We're going from the B to the A flat or the G sharp, down to the G. Okay, so they're essentially the 4 power chords that we're playing. So the power chords we're essentially just playing first finger is going to be on the 7th fret of that top E string, then your ring finger on the 9th fret of the 2nd string of the A string, and your pinky, or you can stretch over with your ring finger if you can, but I like to do it with my pinky, on the 9th fret of the 3rd string down, which is the D string. Okay? And that's your essentially a B power chord. You can play it over here as well, down on the 2nd fret on the 2nd string down. But because it's sort of moving down the neck, it's a bit easier to play it from up here and go downwards. So that's the way that I like to do this. Alright, and we're moving down from the 7th fret down to the 5th fret, so same shape, and we're strumming 2. Down to 5th, down to the 4th, 3rd, and then back up to the 5th. Now you will hear that during the verse, it sounds like he's muted the guitar, alright? So he's got his palm muted against the string, alright? Alright, so we're muted. You'll hear that on the last one, on that 3rd, on the G string, there's a few, and then he slides back up to that 7. You'll then hear that before it hits to the big open chords of that same part, the last one will be like this. So the last 4th and the 3rd fret will be open. And then that, again, the same part again, but instead of being muted, we're now having it open-handed. So muted, and then we're playing exactly the same. And then the last one before we go back into the verse, he just stops on that 4th one. Back to the first part there. And then there's the last chord progression before it jumps into the chorus. So the same progression as what we've been doing. And then the last one we're playing the same, but not muted anymore. Okay, so you're not muting with your palm, okay, you're just playing the last ones open. And then we go to an E. So what I'm hearing is we're playing an E chord, not the power chord here, which is just the top 3 strings, but a full chord. So you got your middle finger and your ring finger on the 2nd and 2nd fret of the 2nd and 3rd string down, and then your first finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string down. And we're sort of strumming the top few strings and then the whole chord, including the the higher strings to make it more prevalent there. And then we go to an F sharp. Back to the top, all right? So that whole part, same chords as what we've been doing. And you got an E, which is essentially the open E string, and then the E chord, and then to an F sharp. I like to play the whole chord, but you don't have to. You can just get away with playing the power chord, which is the... So you're looking on the second fret of that top string and playing the power chord shape. Or if you want to play the full chord, you add that middle finger in there. Back to that top bit. Back to the E. Back to the F sharp, and then back to the verse again. Then there's the bridge of the song, or like an instrumental. Two guitars playing, one playing big power chords, the other one playing a little solo part. So let's go over the first part. Alright, so there we're looking at that B again. Play it down there, you can play it up here, the B power chord. Then we go into a D, which is the 5th fret of that second string down, playing the power chord shape. Again, you can play it if you want to. I find it easier going down the neck, so it's up to you. And then down to the G, back to the F sharp. So the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret. So 7th fret, and then the 5th fret of the second string down, a power chord, and then the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then down to the 2nd fret of the 1st string, okay? So really slow, just listen to the sort of strumming pattern that I'm playing. Okay, and the second guitar, which is the solo of the song, goes like this. So we're starting like a sort of a couple of sort of high-powered octave chords. We're looking at the 9th fret of the 3rd string down. Now you'll also notice I've got a bit more distortion on this guitar now, so I've dirtied it up a little bit more, some extra delay in there, and you could actually even use a little bit of wire if you want to make it a little bit more special as well. Alright, so we're going from that 9th fret of the 3rd string down, and I've got my pinky on the 12th fret of the 5th string down. If you can't play that, that's okay, you can go for a single note. But you'll notice that the strumming is pretty constant up and down. So if you're struggling to maybe play it like that, just practice really slow. Okay, and just start speeding it up from there. So let's just go through that. So 9th, up to the 12th, back to the 9th, and then we're going 10, 9 on the 2nd string down, which is the A string. Okay, so that's the very first part. So really slow, we will do it with a single finger. Ignore that second last bung note. So from there we go to the next part. So let's go from there over to the next part of that solo. Okay, there we go from the 12 up to the 14, and then we bend the string. So you can bend it up or you can bend it down. Okay, so you're actually bending it up to that 15th fret. Essentially one more up. You can go if you really want to, but the bend sounds so much sweeter. So just go for the bend. All while keeping that same strumming, okay? All right, over to the next part. And then we end back to the chorus. Okay, so that last part, it's a little bit tricky to sort of get your head around it, but essentially we're going. We're repeating that for the first part. 14th fret down to the 12th of the 3rd string down, yeah? And then 14th of the 2nd string down. Back to the 12th of the 3rd string down. Yeah? And then you just speed it up. Okay, so from the top again. And then you go from that second last, well, let's go from this first part. Okay, so you play that, and then you play sort of half of that. And then back down to the 14th of that 2nd string, to the 12th of that 3rd string, 14th again of that 2nd string down. Now you go down to the 12 of the 2nd string down. Okay, so really slow. Okay. Next part goes back up to that 14. Let's go from the top. So that next part goes from the 14th of that 2nd string down, and then you're looping from the 12th to the 14th of the 3rd string down. Okay, from that top again. So that last part really slow. Let's go from that top of that second part really slow again. You're bending it up a fair bit, 2 frets. Alright, very last one you bend up. And then he goes back into the chorus at the end of the last song. And then the repeat at the very end, sort of the tagline out, is essentially the same as what we're playing on the bridge there. So back to that 7th fret, 5th, the B, to the 5th fret of the A string of the 2nd string down, and you repeat that till the very end, okay? So let's just go from the previous part. And that loops till the very end, and then you got a nice little chord at the very end. So we've got my ring finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string down. It's like a G sharp. Okay, and I've got my first finger across the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings of the 9th fret. Right, so on the 9th fret of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings, and then I've got my 11th fret of my A string. And you just strum it nicely. And that is cleaner, so you switch over, turn your distortion off slightly, and that's the song there. Well, I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up on my video, subscribe to my channel Digital Stereo Guitar for a whole bunch of more videos.